Claire could tell how everyone felt before they said anything. She knew by the way her husband placed his keys on the counter whether his day had gone badly. She knew by the speed of her daughter's footsteps whether school had been humiliating or merely tiring. She could detect disappointment in the pause before her mother said, "That's fine." She could tell when her boss disliked an idea by the slight tightening around his mouth. People called Claire perceptive. They said she had an unusual gift for reading a room. The gift had made her useful. At work, Claire managed a small team at a nonprofit organization that built community gardens in neglected neighborhoods. Her job required her to coordinate donors, volunteers, contractors, city officials, and residents who rarely agreed about anything. She knew how to soften an objection before it became an argument. She knew when to compliment someone, when to apologize, and when to take responsibility for a mistake she had not made. At home, she performed the same work without a title. If Daniel seemed withdrawn, she became warmer. If Emma became irritable, Claire searched for the hidden injury beneath the anger. If her mother sounded lonely, Claire rearranged the weekend. If a friend stopped responding to messages, Claire replayed their last conversation until she found something she might have said incorrectly. She rarely thought of this as fear. She thought of it as love. One Monday morning, Claire arrived at work to find 3 people waiting outside her office. The first was Tomas, the construction manager. He was angry because the new garden design required a retaining wall that had not been included in the budget. The second was Lydia, the neighborhood liaison. She was angry because Tomas had dismissed a concern raised by several residents. The third was Aaron, Claire's boss. He was not visibly angry, which frightened Claire more than if he had been shouting. "The donor presentation is Friday," Aaron said. "I need this handled." Claire felt the familiar surge inside her body. Her breathing became shallow. Her mind accelerated. She noticed every face, every silence, every possible danger. She began constructing sentences before anyone finished speaking. Within an hour, she had apologized to Lydia, reassured Tomas, promised Aaron that the project would remain on schedule, and offered to revise the presentation herself. By noon, everyone appeared calmer. Claire sat alone at her desk, staring at the list of new responsibilities she had acquired. There were 17 items. None of them had belonged to her that morning. She placed both hands over her face. For a moment, she felt something close to anger. But the feeling disappeared almost as soon as she noticed it. Anger was dangerous. Anger might make her unfair. Anger might change the atmosphere around her. So Claire converted the anger into efficiency. She opened the design file and began working. That evening, she arrived home 40 minutes late. Daniel was cooking pasta. Emma sat at the kitchen table with her headphones on. "I'm sorry," Claire said before anyone asked where she had been. "There was a problem with the garden project." Daniel nodded without looking at her. Claire heard the sound of the knife striking the cutting board. It was slightly louder than usual. "Are you upset?" she asked. "No. You seem upset." "I'm cutting vegetables." Claire placed her bag on the counter. "I said I was sorry." Daniel stopped cutting. "I know." There was something in his voice. Claire could feel it. A distance, a judgment, perhaps resentment. She stepped closer. "I couldn't leave. 3 people were in conflict, and Aaron needed me to resolve it. I didn't say anything." "You didn't have to." Daniel turned toward her. "What does that mean?" Claire tried to explain. She told him she could sense that he was disappointed. She told him she understood. She told him she would make it up to him. She suggested they watch something together after dinner. The more she spoke, the less warmth she saw in his face. Finally, Daniel set down the knife. "Claire, I was tired, that's all." "You were angry." "Maybe I was a little frustrated." "I knew it." "You didn't let me finish." Claire waited. Daniel rubbed his forehead. "I was frustrated that you were late. Then I started letting it go. But you walked in and turned my mood into an emergency. I was trying to care about how you felt." "No, you were trying to make me stop feeling it." The words struck her with surprising force. That isn't fair. Maybe not. So now I'm the problem because I noticed you were upset? I didn't say you were the problem. But you're acting like I am. Daniel looked exhausted. Claire could see that the conversation was deteriorating. She began searching for the right words to repair it. She considered apologizing again. She considered explaining her childhood. She considered touching his arm. Then Emma removed one side of her headphones. Can you two not do this tonight? Claire turned toward her. We're not fighting. Emma gave her a look that contained no mercy. You're doing the thing where everyone has to be okay before you can be okay. Claire felt suddenly exposed. I'm trying to help. I know. Emma replaced her headphone. That answer hurt more than an accusation. A week later, Claire met with a counselor named Ruth. Claire had not intended to begin counseling. She had attended a leadership workshop sponsored by her organization, and Ruth had been one of the speakers. During a discussion about burnout, Ruth described people who lived in a constant state of outward attention. They scan the environment, Ruth had said. They track faces, voices, pauses, and reactions. Their bodies are always preparing to move. Claire had felt as though Ruth were describing a private habit no one else could see. After the workshop, she approached her. I think I do that, Claire said. Most people do it sometimes. I think I do it all the time. Ruth studied her for a moment. Then you may not know what it feels like to stop. During their first session, Ruth asked Claire to describe what happened when someone around her became unhappy. I feel it, Claire said. Where? In the room. Where in your body? Claire thought about it. My chest, my throat, sometimes my stomach. And then what do you do? I try to understand what happened. And then, I try to fix it. What happens if you cannot fix it? Claire laughed softly. I keep trying. Ruth smiled, but there was no amusement in it. She took out a blank piece of paper and drew 2 circles. Inside the first, she wrote, go. Inside the second, she wrote, home. The go state is organized around movement, Ruth said. You notice something outside yourself and mobilize. Someone is unhappy, so you explain. Someone withdraws, so you pursue. Someone disapproves, so you adjust. That sounds responsible. It can be. The question is whether you are choosing the movement. Claire looked at the second circle. And the home state? That is what we are going to investigate. Claire waited for a definition. Ruth did not give one. Instead, she asked Claire to sit back in the chair. For the next 30 seconds, do not improve anything. Claire almost smiled. What am I supposed to do? Notice that question. They sat without speaking. After perhaps 6 seconds, Claire became aware of the hum of the air conditioner. Then she noticed Ruth's expression. Ruth appeared neutral, but Claire wondered whether the silence was a test. Am I doing it correctly? Claire asked. Ruth glanced at the clock. 11 seconds. Claire laughed, but her eyes began to fill with tears. She did not know why. Over the next several weeks, Claire began noticing the go state everywhere. It appeared when an email arrived with no greeting. It appeared when Daniel sighed. It appeared when Emma closed her bedroom door. It appeared when Claire offered an idea during a meeting and no one immediately responded. The go state was faster than thought. It moved before she had decided anything. Her body leaned toward the unsettled person. Her mind generated interpretations. Her words rushed in to close the space. She began to wonder how many of her choices were choices at all. One afternoon, Lydia entered Claire's office and said she did not think the community garden project was ready for the donor presentation. The residents feel like the organization is moving ahead without listening to them, Lydia said. Claire felt the surge. She wanted to reassure Lydia. She wanted to defend the timeline. She wanted to promise another meeting, revise the presentation, call Aaron, and absorb whatever consequences followed. Instead, she placed both feet on the floor. What do you think needs to happen? Claire asked. Lydia appeared surprised. We need another week. Aaron will object. I know. Are you willing to explain your reasons to him? Lydia hesitated. Claire felt the ghost state offering to rescue her. She remained in her chair. Yes, Lydia finally said. I am. Claire nodded. Then let's talk to him together. The conversation with Aaron was uncomfortable. He became impatient. Lydia became defensive. Several times Claire felt herself preparing to soften Lydia's words or take responsibility for the delay, but she did not. She clarified where necessary. She spoke honestly about the risks. She allowed Lydia to carry her own conviction. Aaron disagreed. Then he listened. The presentation was postponed. No one celebrated the decision. No one thanked Claire for her leadership. She left the meeting with a trembling sensation in her arms. Yet beneath the trembling, there was something unfamiliar. The project no longer felt as though it were resting on her ribcage. At home, the change was more difficult. Work offered roles, schedules, and defined responsibilities. Family life did not. One night, Emma came downstairs crying. A close friend had excluded her from a birthday gathering. Claire felt the full force of her daughter's pain. Within seconds, she had begun imagining solutions. She could contact the girl's mother. She could help Emma compose a message. She could explain that friendships changed during adolescence. She could plan something special for the same evening. Instead, she sat beside her daughter. That hurts, Claire said. Emma nodded. Claire waited. The silence felt negligent. She placed a hand on the couch between them, close enough for Emma to take it if she wanted. Do you want help thinking about what to do? Claire asked. Or do you want me to sit here? Just sit here. So Claire sat. Emma cried for several minutes. Nothing improved. The friend did not call. The invitation did not arrive. Emma's sadness remained present between them. But after a while, Emma leaned against her mother. Claire noticed that she had always confused love with the removal of pain. Now she began to wonder whether love might sometimes be the willingness to remain without controlling what another person felt. The thought disturbed her. If she stopped managing other people's feelings, what would make her valuable? The answer seemed to arrive 3 weeks later, although at first it looked like another failure. The community garden opened on a Saturday morning in May. The finished space was beautiful. Wooden beds followed the curve of the hillside. Children painted signs for tomatoes, peppers, mint, and strawberries. The retaining wall had become a long bench overlooking the garden. Residents, volunteers, donors, and city representatives gathered for the opening. Claire had spent 9 months building toward this moment. She expected to feel fulfilled. Instead, she spent the morning monitoring everyone else. Was Aaron pleased with the turnout? Did Lydia think the residents had been properly recognized? Was Tomas still irritated about the budget? Were the donors impressed? Was the mayor bored? Had Daniel noticed that Claire forgot to thank him during her speech? Each face became a verdict. By noon, Claire felt almost absent from the event she had created. She stood near the garden entrance as people began to leave. A volunteer approached and told her the morning had been wonderful. Claire thanked her but barely registered the words. Across the garden, Aaron was speaking to one of the major donors. The donor's expression looked serious. Claire's body activated. She began walking toward them. Halfway across the garden, she stopped. She did not know why. Perhaps she was tired. Perhaps some part of her had finally refused another assignment. She looked around. A little boy was kneeling beside the strawberry bed, holding a berry in both hands. Lydia was laughing with 2 residents near the painted signs. Tomas sat on the retaining wall, eating from a paper plate. Daniel was helping Emma carry a folding table. The garden existed. People were using it according to their own interests, needs, and desires. Some were delighted, some were distracted, some had complaints, some would never return. Claire had wanted the opening to produce a single, shared feeling, as though success meant bringing everyone into one emotional room and keeping them there. But there was no single room. There were only people. Each person carried a private world she could influence but never occupy. She returned home that afternoon exhausted. Daniel and Emma left to return the rented tables. Claire went upstairs and sat on the edge of the bed. The house was empty. No one needed reassurance. No expression required interpretation. No relationship appeared to be in immediate danger. Yet the ghost state remained. Her mind searched for the next unsettled person. It replayed the donor's serious expression. It reviewed her speech. It wondered whether Daniel felt overlooked. It suggested sending Lydia a message, then Aaron, then her mother, whom she had not called in 4 days. Claire closed her eyes. At their last session, Ruth had asked her a question. What do you believe would happen if everyone were disappointed in you at once? Claire had answered quickly, I would be alone. Ruth had waited. And if you were alone? Claire had not known how to answer. Now, sitting in the empty house, she allowed the question to remain. Suppose Aaron thought she had mishandled the opening. Suppose Lydia believed Claire had taken too much credit. Suppose Daniel felt neglected. Suppose Emma found her embarrassing. Suppose her mother believed she was selfish. One by one, Claire let the imagined judgments gather. Her chest tightened, her throat burned. She felt the urge to stand, find her phone, and repair her position inside every mind. She stayed on the bed. The judgments became louder. Selfish, difficult, disappointing, unnecessary. The last word opened something in her. Unnecessary. For most of her life, Claire had tried to become necessary to other people. She had offered usefulness in exchange for security. She had studied other people's emotions because their emotions seemed to determine whether she had a place. She remembered being 9 years old, standing outside her parents' bedroom while they argued. She had entered carrying a drawing she made for them. Her mother stopped crying. Her father softened. The room changed. Claire had learned something that night. She had learned that when the people she loved were unhappy, she could act. She could become pleasing, helpful, calm, impressive, or indispensable. She could change the weather. The strategy had worked often enough to become an identity. Now, for the first time, Claire did not try to change anything. She felt the bed beneath her. She heard a lawnmower several houses away. She noticed air entering her lungs without being summoned. She noticed that thoughts about Aaron appeared and vanished. Images of Lydia appeared and vanished. Memories of her parents appeared and vanished. Fear moved through her body, rose, and began to loosen. Something remained beneath all of it. Not confidence, not approval, not a positive opinion about herself. Those things could change as quickly as the weather in someone else's face. What remained was simpler. Claire opened her eyes. The room looked exactly as it had before, but the structure of her life had shifted. She had spent decades trying to secure her existence inside other people's reactions. She had believed that love required her to enter their emotional worlds, repair them, and remain useful enough to be allowed to stay. Now she saw the mistake. She had never lived inside their feelings. She had never lived inside their approval. She had never even lived inside the image of Claire that appeared in their minds. She was not the image of herself in other people's eyes. She was the one who was looking.